Hi Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your November 2021 full moon reading for you. Now I ask if this reading resonates with you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will be listed and linked in the description box below. Now before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds, letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. Let's let the bowls sing as we see what the tarot has to say. How will Scorpio be affected by the November 2021 full moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Fantastic. So at the bottom is our rooted self. The left-hand side is our inner self. The middle, our heart, our emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. So let's see what the cards have to say. We have the Tower and we have the Devil here. So this time is really quite intense. The Devil is Capricorn energy coming through at our root. So if we have Capricorn within our natal charts or within our lives, they're going to be coming through very powerfully at our root. The Tower is also going to be shaking things up. A lot of things are being shaken up during this time. A lot of things are being brought to the surface that were once ignored. And that's because the sun is in Scorpio, as we know here, Scorpio. This is a time where we are aligned with our sister sign. You know, Scorpio's sister sign is Taurus. The moon is in Taurus. And so a lot is coming forward that we hadn't expected, or that we didn't think would be powerful for us, or we didn't think that this would happen during this time. And yet it is going to. This is going to be an astoundingly powerful time for us, because sister signs, I mean, they bring out the best in us and they also bring out the worst in us, just as sisters do. So that's going to be really, really quite intense here. Then we have the King of Pentacles and we have the Tower coming through again. Now we can start freaking out. I highly suggest not to, because the Tower isn't necessarily a bad thing. It is a change that is beyond our control. So this is divinity, God, source, spirit, however you say it, however you see it, throwing us out of our comfort zone in a very real way. And this is what this moon is going to do to us. It's going to throw us out of our comfort zone, but it's going to lead us to this path of success, to this path of prosperity. It's also the earth sign energy of Taurus coming into play, also Virgo and Capricorn, enhancing the Capricorn here at our root. But the Pentacles represent earth sign energy, and it represents the connection we have with this full moon. Then we have our inner selves, our emotional selves. We have the Ace of Swords, the Four of Cups, and the Two of Pentacles. In our public arena self, we have the Lovers and we have Charity. So the Lovers is Gemini energy. If we have Gemini within our natal chart, that's coming through here very powerfully in our public arena self. But it's also falling in love with life again. It's also bringing that passion back. In Scorpio, we want and need and thrive off of the passion of existence. So that's going to be something that's really quite important for us. Now let us look at the cards to be mindful of. Angels and spirit guides, show us clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. This is Freylt. Now this is Sagittarius energy. Now remember, Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, and we do have an alignment with Jupiter coming into play during this time. So that could be just a warning for the planetary alignment of Jupiter coming into play. But this is also a sense of be mindful. Be mindful of people who are following their way forward, and their way forward doesn't necessarily have to be our way forward. And we can feel almost out of harmony with them, but we're never supposed to be in harmony with them. And I know that sounds kind of odd to say, but it's almost like saying here, somebody has a truth. And I'm putting that in air quotes because Spirit is saying it's a truth for them. And it's a truth that they need to live, but it's not a truth for you, and it's not a truth that you need to live. And so during this time, we're going to be realizing it. It's like, oh wow, I've been trying to make this fit, and it just doesn't. Like, I've been trying to work this out, and it just doesn't work. And now we're going to be able to say, okay, I don't want that anymore. I don't need that anymore. It moves us to our chakra energy. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Flexibility. This is the Sacral Chakra. And the Sacral Chakra is rather complex because it's where we hold a lot of our creative energy, but it's also where we hold our sexual energy. And it's the sense of this creative, beautiful aspect of ourselves coming forward. So we also have a lot of our negative energy from this life and from past lives held in the Sacral Chakra. And so here with the Sacral Chakra, we're going to find that we're embracing flexibility with our own sensuality, with our own creativity, but also with all the baggage that we're carrying, with a lot of what has shaped us through trauma. And we're going to see here that there isn't so much a place for that in our lives anymore. There isn't a need to carry around that trauma day to day. And we're finding ourselves becoming more expressive, more open, more honest with our movement forward and with the place that we really want to be within our lives. So let's talk about this astrologically for just a little bit. Now, on the 19th of November, the full moon is a full moon lunar eclipse in Taurus. And a lunar eclipse always makes the moon much more intense. So as in all full moons, the sun is opposite the moon, which brings all our relationships into sharp focus, as well as making us aware of opposing forces in our lives: work, home, wants, needs, other people's wants, other people's needs, our needs. We are also a lot more emotionally aware and more spiritually and personally plugged in to our wants and our needs and what we want for the bigger picture of who we are. A lunar eclipse also represents our emotions and also restarts our emotions and has us clearing away a lot of the baggage that we've been carrying for the past 6 months, which is really quite extraordinary because the world seems to be tinged in just this gray. Even if we're having a pretty okay time, even if things seem to be going along really rather nicely, or, even if they are really intense, we're going to see that the world is just tinged in gray and it has become a bit overwhelming. So as we're releasing so much of the past 6 months, and we can even be releasing more than that, but especially the past 6 months, we're going to find ourselves stepping into a new way of being, stepping into a new vision of ourselves. Now, the full moon is in Taurus, which is the second sign in the zodiac. This means that it is naturally linked with the second house, which represents the material world, material things, material life, food, the body, well-being. We are being told here to pay attention to the quality of things, not necessarily the quantity of things. The sun is in Scorpio, which greatly affects us, which is the 8th sign in the zodiac, which means that we are naturally linked with the 8th house. And the 8th house is of regeneration and death and rebirth. Now, we can get a little nervous when it comes to that, and a lot of people do. But what we find is that a door to another world is opening to us. That's why we're experiencing so much change. That's why things are so intense. And this is going to be a rather intense time for us, Scorpio. So as the second house in Taurus have us focusing on the material world, and the eighth house in Scorpio have us connecting with the spiritual world and the esoteric side of life, we're going to need to balance the both of these, because we're going to go to one extreme or another and then always feel like we're being pulled in two directions. Taurus and the second house also have us linked with Mother Earth, which is so important, because it almost feels like we have this disconnect with the earth right now, Scorpio, and we need to connect with it again. We're also connecting very importantly with our earnings and our ability to provide for ourselves. While Scorpio and the eighth house is linked with banking and with saving, being able to see how we can save once everything is cared for. This can be a very touchy subject, especially during this time, especially with everything that we've been going through. But this is a time where we're looking at things and we're being a lot more honest with ourselves. We're looking at ways to embrace prosperity, ways to look at what we want, desire, need, and our long-term goals for ourselves and where it is that we want to be. Now we have the moon squared Jupiter, and this is where we're being told to be mindful of the Sagittarius energy. So because Jupiter rules Sagittarius, now this brings hopefulness and enthusiasm into our lives. It brings a hopefulness to us, and it's like, okay, there's joy here again, though it also amplifies our emotional response to things. So we're going to need to be mindful of our hearts and our reactions, because we can kind of fly off the handle with certain things, and we have to be aware of that. We can have a tendency towards moodiness, irritability, and carelessness. So again, be aware of this, but also be aware that everybody has this. Everybody's going to have a tendency towards moodiness, irritability, carelessness, and it can make things a little bit difficult. But once we're aware of what we're dealing with, it's also going to make things a lot more kind of like opened, because people aren't going to be hiding, masking the way that they usually are. We are being told that by adapting an attitude of gratitude and spirituality, not materialism, we will see ourselves transformed. Jupiter also urges us to expand our horizons and be mindful of greed, which we're going to come back to that greed in just a little bit. Now, here we also have a tendency with the moon trine Pluto to bring spiritual and emotional sensitivity to the forefront. So this moon has a tendency to bring this spiritual and emotional sensitivity to the forefront, as making us aware of our psychic perception and our holistic self. We're really connecting with ourselves and what we desire and who it is that we are. We will be feeling things powerfully, which makes us more emotional. There's a sense of this subconscious urging us to our spiritual selves and to a spiritual evolution, a spiritual power. We're going to be empowering the energy of Jupiter. Jupiter is going to be empowering this energy of connecting with our spiritual self, which has us aligning ourselves more and more with our karmic destiny. And the karmic destiny is pushing us again out of our comfort zone to a greater place, to a more powerful understanding of who we are and where we're headed. The eclipse aspect pattern is the alignment of the Sun, the Moon, Jupiter, and Pluto, which creates a quadrilateral. Okay, I can't say that word, but it creates that shape, and it is known as the animated figure. This configuration helps us to bring to life things that have been dormant, hence the name, hence it starts to animate our world. Now, things aren't going to happen easily or all at once, but it is going to bring to the surface things that were spiritually, physically, mentally, psychically hidden to us before. And it's letting us tap into that energy. Our imagination and our perseverance is letting us get the job done. And that's also where the flexibility comes in with the Sacral Chakra, to be able to be flexible with ourselves, with what we desire, and be able to think outside of the box. Just be mindful here that we're going to have a tendency of all or nothing. And everybody's going to have this tendency of either I'm in 150% or I'm not in at all. So that can be a really frustrating aspect to deal with. The fixed star Algol, which represents the head in the constellation of Medusa, comes into play. Now, Medusa was killed by Perseus. And so here we have this sense of intensity, okay? Because Medusa was beheaded by Perseus. And this star can really make us lose our heads, because it is known as the most evil star in all of the heavens, which is quite a thing to live up to. I mean, seriously, that's quite a title. But because of its malevolent tendencies, okay, it has a tendency towards violence and extremes and misfortune, and, just everything that we don't want in our lives to come into our lives with power and fervency. This is why we have to keep a high energy vibration. If we don't keep a high energy vibration, we can be completely knocked off our games, completely disconnected with what we truly want, and we can fall prey to greed. This is why we're being told to be mindful of greed just taking over during this time. Because if we let ourselves fall prey to greed, we're going to find that we have some really big regrets after this full moon. So here, and on that happy note, let us move into the Tower and the Devil, which just seems, so intensely malevolent, after Algol, but also has a power to it. There is a change coming for us here, Scorpio. There is a change that rocks our world and moves us forward and has us looking at things so differently and so intensely and so powerfully that we're thinking, am I moving forward the right way? Like, am I going after this the way that I'm supposed to? Our foundation has been shaken. Now, it can be shaken because of the way of the world. It can be shaken because we're seeing things and understanding things in a way that we never have before. But we're also stepping into ourselves more and more. And the thing where we start to claim who we are with openness and intensity and fervor, it becomes terrifying. It becomes terrifying because this is us. It's not somebody else. It's not a masquerade ball. This is who we are. And there's power here, and there's intensity here, and there's determination here to move us to our goals. And so we're being pushed out of our comfort zone. So we're seeing things quite differently. It doesn't mean this change has to be a change that people look at and say, oh my gosh, I can't believe you lived through this. It can be a very small change that propels us forward in a very different way than the road that we were originally on. And it leads us to looking at a lot of the chains that we have held to in this waking world. Now, it can be the expectations of others. It can be societal expectations and norms. It can be, the sense of, well, successful people do this. And what we're going to find here is that we're breaking down those barriers. We're breaking away from those chains, and we're moving more and more into ourselves. There is a sense of looking at demons and nightmares and things that have kept us held back. This can be looking at addictions. This can be looking at, our worst traits and saying, no, I don't get to be ruled by you. This could be self-doubt. This could be anxiety. This could be depression, and saying, I don't get to be ruled by this anymore. Now, of course, if it's clinical depression, we don't have the control over it, or we don't have control over it, and we don't really have control over depression anyway. But what we're going to be seeing here is that we're calling ourselves out more. We're saying, no, I don't get to be weighed down by darkness anymore. We're really going to be fighting against darkness during this time, and it's what shatters, again, a lot of our world. It moves us to a place of light, and in the light, it can be blinding. It can be absolutely overwhelming. When you have nothing but light, that complete blinding light, or you have complete darkness, it's complete sensory overload. So we're going to be finding here that it might be hard to see our way forward. It might be hard to really get to the place that we want to be. And we have to center ourselves. We have to look at the balance of our Scorpio energy with the full moon eclipse energy of Taurus coming into play. So the way that we move within the darkness, the way that we connect with the spiritual, the way that we are all about the death and rebirth of being and self, because life isn't stagnant. It is always changing. It is always evolving. It is always moving us forward. And we're going to embrace that evolution during this time. And it has us confronting. It has us expressing. It has us changing. And it moves us to this place of prosperity. And again, the Taurus full moon, and especially with it being an eclipse, is going to be our best friend and at times our worst enemy, just like a sister can be. And it moves us to the King of Pentacles. It moves us to prosperity, and it moves us to success, and it moves us to bounty. It moves us to claiming our throne, claiming what we desire, and knowing that no one and nothing is going to stop us. There is a sense here of, if I can live through this, I can live through anything. I can climb this mountain. I can move through these hurdles. I do not need to let fear overpower me. And this can be a time where we start to let the fear come in, because we're embracing ourselves so openly and fully. We're putting our hearts so cosmically forward that it's almost like, but this is the very essence of me. And if this goes wrong, what next? What happens? How do I survive that? And what Spirit is saying here is that emotionally, we are connecting with our minds. We are getting the gift from God's source spirit, however you see the divine, the universe, to cut through doubts, fears, and negativity, to know what it is that we want, to move forward as a victor, not a victim, and to be able to embrace the power of our words, the power of what we desire, the power of where we need to be. So we have all of this going on. We have ourselves claiming prosperity emotionally, where we're thinking, can I even do this? We're claiming it inwardly. And emotionally, there's a sense of, but now I have more on my plate. Like, how do I handle all of this? How can I juggle everything that is coming my way? With the Two of Pentacles, the Four of Cups is a gift coming to us that doesn't look like a gift. It doesn't look like something that we fully understand or something that we fully grasp. But it is going to be that thing that propels us forward, that thing that moves us in beauty and connection and in power and in self. And it comes because there's this realization, there's this ringing of this bell, and it's like, oh, but this is it. This is what I need. And the Two of Pentacles is, I've been trying to balance everything but myself. And my emotions have been taking over and over, have been raging behind me. And now, when I have 2 feet firmly planted on the ground, I see me. I connect with me. I desire me. And that's what moves us to the Lovers. That's what moves us to this place of saying, this is my passion, this is my heart, this is what I need. Now, we can be fooled by lust during this time, and it's going to be rather easy for everybody within the zodiac, everybody on this earth, to be fooled by lust and not see love. So that's going to be something that we have to be aware of. We have the Sacral Chakra coming in, our sexual, connection with ourselves. Scorpios are very sexual beings, so are Taurians. And so here, we're going to find that energy really coming forward. And what we're looking for is love. What we're looking for is quality, not quantity. And what we're looking here is for the way that we move forward. Now, what Spirit is making known is that just having, when Spirit says quality, not quantity, it's not just one day of somebody being nice to us and then treating us like garbage. It is the quality of the interactions when we might all be busy with everything that needs to be done, every way that we need to move forward. And so here we're embracing our passion. We are, again, falling in love with our lives, falling in love with ourselves, falling in love with who we are and the path that we are on. We have to check into our hearts, because it will be so easy to forget our hearts and just move forward in the rat race that is living. And Spirit is saying here, don't, because a gift is coming. A gift is coming, and it is going to be more powerful than you realize. It moves us then to charity, generosity, being able to give to ourselves, being able to give to the world, being able to connect with our energy and say, this is me. That is moving the world forward in such a beautiful way, moving ourselves forward in such a beautiful way that we become charitable with our existence. We become generous with who it is that we are and where it is that we're going and what it is that we love and what it is that we're creating within our lives. We become charitable to ourselves, which it is about time, because we have been balancing so much that we forgot that there could be beauty to things. It moves us to our lunar self. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. So at our root, we have the energy is gaining momentum. Beginnings. So energy is gaining momentum during this time all the way to the new moon, which is on the 4th of December. So we're going to see our energy gaining momentum, ourselves gaining momentum, our passion, our power, our insights, our ideas all come and stem from this full moon, from this lunar eclipse, full moon energy propelling us forward. It moves us to our inner selves, where it says, you are good enough. Resistance. resistance to the energy that's trying to crush us, resistance to the power that is around us that's knocking us off our game, to know that we are good enough, that we are the King of Pentacles, that we are the prosperity and the success and the bounty that we need within our world. We are enough. We are resisting and we are growing. It leads us then to our lunar emotional self. The answers you need are coming. The path. The answers you need are coming. Look at the path. Look at what we desire. Look at our way forward. Look at the sense of this is me. Follow the path forward and see where it takes us. The answers we need are coming. And that's why we're getting this gift of cutting through so much, of being able to see with the Four of Cups, being able to be told, look around you, look at the gifts that are coming in. And it's time to balance us. It's time to take care of us. It moves us to our public arena Luna message. Confidence is your key to success. Creation. It is through the confidence as we fall in love with ourselves that we start to create, and we start to be charitable with ourselves, with our time, with our connection with spirit. Instead of always demanding more of us, we're embracing the connection that we have right now. It moves us to our subconscious lunar message, which is meditate and contemplate. There is so much going on, and we need to take it in. It brings change. So as we meditate and contemplate, we have this change coming forward. And this change, this moon moves us. We see that with the tower. The tower, there we go. It moves us in a way that we haven't expected, in a way that is intense and can be overwhelming. We have to walk slowly during this time because it can have a tendency to just sweep us up, to just push us forward in a way that we're not even expecting. Our subconscious energy to be mindful of is the Chariot. This is Cancer energy. It's being mindful of being swept up so much in emotions, in our emotions and others' emotions, that we lose sight of what we're really working for, of what we're really going after. It moves us then to our subconscious chakra energy, which is divine wisdom. This is the star soul chakra located 6 inches above our crown. Wisdom is coming in. We're seeing things in a new light, in a new way, in a new understanding. And it's like, oh, okay, this is my chapter. Like, this is the chapter I need to embrace. Like, this is the way that I need to move forward. This is what I need to go after. And the wisdom comes to us and we're thinking, well, how did I know that? And why did I think that as it is happening? And it's because we're psychically connecting with ourselves. You know, we're holistically stepping into ourselves. And there's just so much power there. It moves us to our subconscious rooted energy, and it's judgment. It's rising out of the box. It's rising out of the judgment of others, the judgment of ourselves. It's rising out of the chaos and the hurt and the disappointment, and it's stepping into who we are and where we need to be. We're going to see, it's like the healing fires are around us, and it burns away so much of the excess heartbreak, terror, hurt and pain that has been overwhelming us. It moves us to our subconscious inner self, which is the Two of Wands. There's a new world opening up for us. And this moon propels us forward into it. It's like, there's a new world. What are you waiting for? There's a new way forward. Why not embrace it? Why not go after it? And as we have this power coming in, it moves us to our subconscious emotional self, which is the Wheel of Fortune. We can feel like we're on a roller coaster ride during this time. But it is because so much is changing. We're embracing a new season, a new being, a new aspect of our lives. And that's what we're here for, Scorpio. We're here for the change and evolution of being and heart and soul and existence. And this excites us as it moves us forward. It moves us to our subconscious public arena self. And it's the 10 of Pentacles. It's wealth that lasts for generations. It's prosperity and success and bounty and abundance. And it's being able to have this beauty in our lives. And it's not saying I'm not worth it. It's absolutely knowing that we are. We talk about generational curses, and people talk about that a lot. But here we have a generational blessing coming in. We have a success that is leading us forward towards greater things than we have imagined. There's a sense of wealth. And this doesn't mean that, again, we win the lottery and everything is just plush all the time. What it means is that we start to have enough. There's a security. There's a bounty. There's a beauty. And as we embrace this, we embrace ourselves more and more. We move forward to where we need to be and what we greatly desire. And that becomes the game changer here. And we're connecting with the energy of this world. And so when it's wealth that lasts for generations, it doesn't mean that we have to pass any wealth down. It means that as we connect with the world around us, our energy starts to inspire others. Our existence has a greater, more powerful meaning. All right, Scorpio. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I'm sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace the power and the prosperity and the intensity of this lunar eclipse full moon. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Scorpio, and may you have a blessed moon.